Other thing which I really love to chat a little bit is this one, the hourglass. And this actually, I've changed it to this is the future, which is going through the present, and this is the past. So, what's more important is the present right here, because if we take action, like you said, we learn, we get trained, we go to seminars, we got to take action, move the needle, because once this time passes from the future to the past, then it's gone. It's
That's true.
totally gone. You can't catch it. You
I
cannot
like that.
catch it.
I love that.
So the present is so important. And we could even look at it metaphorically. A lot of time we put our mind on the past, the negatives and the bad things that happened to us.
True.
And past is like ashes. I say, ashes, would you take a handful of ashes and smother on your face? Dear friends, this is Vinney Chopra. Thank you for liking the podcast and all the shows. Vinney and Walter, we do that Abundance Mindset show, which goes live in all social channels on Thursday at 9 a.m. Pacific, and also Vinney and Bo show, which goes also on Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific. And thank you for really liking the books and all the content that my team puts out for you. Please enjoy this episode. Thank you again. Thank you so much. Hi guys, Vinney Chopra back again. Thank you so much for listening, giving us 5-star reviews on iTunes as the algorithms work in our favor. Great guests come like Liz is here today, and we're going to talk about her. The other thing is, please follow me on my Abundance Mindset show, which is live show I do at 9 a.m. Pacific every Thursday morning, 9 a.m. Pacific on all social channels. Then I do Vinney and Bo show, 9 a.m. on Friday every week. And my podcast, Apartment Syndication Made Easy, plus 800 now, 800 plus. I'm in the top 1% of the, of the podcast now in the world, or I don't know how they see it, or in USA, but thanks again. Thank you for your comments. I read every single one, and let's just get into the show. It's going to be an exciting show. And Liz is here, Liz Faircloth. It's so good to have you, really.
Thank you,
My pleasure, my pleasure. I met with Matt also 1 or 2 times, and he's a wonderful person, your husband, and you co-founded the De Rosa group in 2005. That's 19 years to be able to survive that long.
Yeah.
Fabulous, with Matt, and then the Rosa group based in Trenton, New Jersey. You're in New Jersey. I'm in San Francisco area, Danville, California. We've been here 44 years now. Wow. 44. Happy 44 years. I've been married 44 years. We are celebrating this year,
Good
Neil
for
and
you.
Monica.
That's like the biggest feat to achieve, right?
Thank you. And your mission, I love it, is to really, you started as an entrepreneur, and then commercial, and then residential properties, with a mission to transform lives through real estate. And that's what you and I do, and Matt does. Raised tons and millions of dollars you've raised, worked with hundreds of passionate investors, and controls thousands of residential and commercial assets throughout the East Coast. So I know we're going to dig into quite a few things, because investors are king. That's how you have built your business, and Matt and I have too. They are the right people. They are the ones with trillions of dollars in their plans, retirement plans, and lots of highly powered entrepreneurs. They make a lot of money, but then they don't have time to figure out how to really find great deals, and then how to invest and get passive income, which you and I do.
Yeah.
So welcome, Liz. How are you? It's so
I'm
good to
doing
have
great.
you.
Yeah, it's a pleasure being here with you. I know we interacted quite a bit at a previous conference, and you're always just
Yes.
wonderful to be around. So thank you for having me too.
Thank you. It's such a pleasure. Let's dig deeper let's get into the psychic of investors. I know. I love that. I love that thing. It's a illuminated, right?
Yeah, it's
I
a,
mean,
oh yeah,
on the
neon
wall.
sign. Yeah.
A neon sign. Yeah, I
Yeah.
love it. The real estate investor and her. I like that because you are having a conference before even go further in June. Share
Yeah.
with that so that everybody can really
Yeah.
sign up for it and be there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And just to bridge the gap, about 8 years ago or so, as an active investor, Jess and I, my partner now, we're
Yeah.
investing on a number of properties together and doing flips and what have you. And the InvestHER community was born out of the need that we looked around and we didn't see any communities or circles that were just had the safe space for women. I love real estate investing, but I really love and passionate about really every woman has the birthright to become financially free on their own
Yes.
terms. And we
Yes.
believe that wholeheartedly. And for some, it's life or death. So we put it together a podcast 6 years ago, the InvestHER show that led to meetups, that led to a Facebook community, that led to a mentorship program. And about 3 years ago, we launched our first conference because all the women in our community were like, hey, we want to get together. So we said,
Yeah.
okay. And it's an undertaking. Doing any sort of annual conference is
Huge.
it is an enormous financial time. It's like my wedding literally shows up every single year, right? I'm like, whoa, we just were here. But we do it for the impact and the transformation for women's
Yes.
lives. So this year is in June 2nd to 4th. It is going to have
Mhm.
our goal is 500 women. We have 40 companies coming. And it's really about creating transformation for these women in a
Wow.
sense of it feels like a big retreat. It doesn't feel like a
Mhm.
stuffy conference. And just really quick, Vinny, our theme is going all in. And so
All
right
in.
now, just to give you a quick stat for all the men and women listening,
Yep.
currently women control $10 trillion of the economy. That number is going to
Wow.
30 trillion in the next 5 years. So the amount of wealth
Wow.
that's getting transferred, women are no longer a niche. So the
Mhm.
need for women getting really savvy in investing has never been
Mhm.
more important right now and will be for the
Wow.
foreseeable future. So what we're doing there is it's all about how does women because once women invest, they do very well, actually. They statistically
Good.
outperform men, I hate to say,
Mhm.
as investors, but their confidence level is not there. So this
Well,
conference
they're
is,
intuitive and they're confident and
yeah,
they know things that men they don't look
right.
at it or whatever.
Yeah. So the conference is
Yes.
all about having women. We have 30 speakers. We have Kim Kiyosaki keynoting. We have Sally Krawcheck, who's the founder of Elvest, one of the largest investing
Awesome.
in stocks. We have a woman talking about a keynote on boundaries. So very holistic,
Beautiful.
but it's really
Ah,
about giving women the tools and the strategies in the network so they can make confident investing decisions, whether it's in real estate or maybe alternative investing at this point.
marvelous. Marvelous. Oh my gosh. I
So I
love
invite
that. Love
everyone
that.
listening. We're very passionate about this.
Yay.
We're
Yes.
like pouring
Yes.
ourselves into this conference. So all the men, if you know any women, please invite them. And just I could give the information, but our website has
All
all
the
that
men,
information.
please send your better half. You could have captured so much in this conference that you're, I know it's not a promo, but you know, the key thing is it's such a great cause. And I think we work together nicely. I know my wife played a big
Good
important
partnership.
role when we started in this business, you know. So it's a great way to really work together as a team
Yeah,
and so forth so that we can move forward. And single women, definitely, please go
correct.
ahead and register and get ticket and all that. Oh, and it's
Yeah.
going to be in one-on-one, right? It's a live in Trenton, right? It's not webinar.
Oh,
It's
no,
a
it's a
it's a,
live conference. Yeah, it's in
a
Austin,
live.
Texas. It's not in
Austin,
Trenton. No one's going to
Austin.
want to come to New
Ah.
Jersey, Vinny. No one's coming to New Jersey. No, it's in Austin, Texas at a beautiful, it's at an Omni resort in Austin.
Mhm.
It's at a beautiful resort. So the
Oh,
idea is that women are
awesome.
coming longer so they can get a little bit of
Sure.
space, enjoy the pool. It's going to
Totally.
be beautiful.
Oh, nice, nice. And it's central.
Yes,
Austin is very central for
Indy
East and
City.
West. Beautiful. So let's dig into what would you like to talk about? Investor psyche. I think now with what's happening in 2024, with the
Hmm.
interest rates being high and the distribution stopped,
Yep.
and some people are doing cash calls and all those stuff, you know. I just started
Yeah.
a strategic income fund with my partner, $75 million 506c fund, where we are raising millions for giving some really good lifeline to big operators. I mean, you have
That's
to have
great.
$500 million to 4 billion in your AUM to talk to us in that one. But
Mm.
anyway, Share with me, what direction are you seeing the feelings are of the investors? Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting, right? Because I've been at this for 17 years. So I've seen different cycles, I've seen different moments that you need to know what's happening so you can thrive. And I do believe there's always an opportunity to thrive, but you really need to know what's happening both on a global, national, and then local, right? Real estate is
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
hyper local, but you can't ignore the fact that it is impacted by what's happening, right? Interest rates are not local. It's everywhere, right?
Yeah.
Something that I know what I'm hearing a lot of real estate, a lot of the women in our community, they've done deals, right? They have rental properties. And now they're frustrated because the deals are not penciling out, especially on the multifamily side. I'm sure you've seen the same, Vinney.
Yep.
They just don't make sense. Not saying all deals, but a lot of them. Osa, our last multifamily purchase was 2022. We didn't do a deal
Oh my
last year.
gosh, I was gonna say the same thing. My last
Yeah.
was 2022,
Yep.
0 in 2023,
Yep.
in 2021, 1, in
Yeah.
2021, in 19, 2. So we've been selling.
Yeah.
I've done
Yeah.
40 funds and syndication. So we've
Yeah.
been selling at the peak. You're right. Oh,
Yeah.
please go ahead.
So you're being mindful of all that. So a lot of the women in our community I've seen are pivoting. So if they
Yes.
have some active investing, they're saying, can I meet my financial goals if I passively invest? So I'm seeing a lot of partnerships
Yes.
form because some people are able to get the deal flow, maybe on small multis. They're able to get these
Yep.
off-market deals. So there are deals to be had, but they're not deals to be had for every single person, all on the market, easy peasy, just come through. That's not the market we're in. So I'm seeing a
No.
lot of partnerships, and that's something that we do a lot of training and teaching around. We're not attorneys, but partnership is not the easiest thing. However,
Uh-huh.
when I know if you set it up properly, you could really go
It
further.
can really
Um,
work. Totally.
but you
Totally.
have to put the right
Definitely.
pieces in place. So that's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing on our end of it. And to your point, something that DeRosa did last year is we also started a fund where we're lending out more like hard money to new
Huh?
construction operators, and we're growing that as well. So again, similar to you, right? There's always an opportunity, and we're actually getting into the hotel space where we're going to be hopefully purchasing our first hotel, about 150 keys, because one of
Oh,
our
done.
yeah, like one of our underwriters is extremely knowledgeable about hotels. We had it under contract, and then the price drove up and it just didn't make any sense. So we ended up pulling out
Yes.
of it. But now they're coming back saying they've reduced it. So we're back into negotiations with them. So it's
Go
creativity,
for
right?
it. Go for it. I have a little bit taste of it. We bought one
You
Hilton
did.
Garden Inn for 6 million, by the way, and sold it for 12 million in 2 years. We increased the NOI. So I love
Yeah.
hotels. It's like it's short-term rental, but it's even shorter than the short-term rental because our residents come for a night or two and pay at the counter.
Yeah.
So I love hotels. You're right.
Yeah.
It's just a multi-family in a different facet,
Exactly.
of course.
So I think that's the key, is that I think people in this, especially in our community of our mentorship program, they're tired of figuring things out by themselves. It's always, if you want to go further, go with others. And I know that's so cliche, but that's what we're finding with the
No,
women in our community, because they just don't have the time, Vinny. They don't have
they
the
don't.
time.
Yeah,
They don't have the
yeah,
space. They're in their late 30s, they're in their 40s, they're in their 50s, and they're
yeah.
like, I want to retire and I want to build generational wealth. So that's what we find to be, how do I do this easier with, and we have a woman on our call last night. She has a 14 unit. She's all excited about, and we just started poking holes in it to be supportive, of
Yeah.
course. But we're like, what are the numbers? I'm like, what's your average rent? Oh, I don't know. Okay, you got to get these answers, right? If you're going to really analyze
Yeah.
this deal properly. So that's the kind of work, right? Is that we all have each other's backs, and you don't
I
rely on
love that
yourselves.
what you just said. I mean, there's so much free stuff on the internet and everything, but it's much better to be in a group where you can understand the
Yeah.
numbers and
Yep.
talk to each other and feel comfortable, because fear is the biggest thing, right? And the second thing is making blunders where you can lose thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
And that's why
Which is a big
training
deal.
is so important. Oh, it's a
Yeah.
huge thing. Huge thing. Where I am today, I wouldn't be here if I hadn't spent 130,000 for learning the techniques, and now we are hitting 1 billion plus in AUM and
It's awesome.
everything. And now with assisted livings, it's going to be another billion, and then hotels and all. So assisted living is another one. I know you said
Mm.
alternative assets. Have you guys talked about that?
No,
little
but I've
bit,
been
or-
very intrigued. I don't know much. I'm curious to learn more actually, because it's probably it's again, I would imagine it's always like, where are the eyeballs and then where can you go? Because you don't want where everyone else
Yes.
is. You're not going to observe the masses and get a great deal. That's just, we all know that's not possible. So those other really powerful niches that, yeah, are great to, oh, there you
I
go.
would
I
love
gotta
to
get your book there.
share.
I gotta get your
Oh
book.
my gosh. Look at this one. Senior Living Investing Made Easy for LPs and GPs and
Oh,
everything. I
nice.
talk everything about it in these 300 pages.
Oh,
I've been
lovely.
in it for about 5 years.
Oh, nice.
5 years. I'll be 72
Oh, good
this
for you.
August. 72. Yeah, feeling good. But
You
the
don't
key
look
thing,
72, Vinny. Let's be honest, but let's just talk about that for a
uh,
moment. And hopefully
thank
I don't look my
you.
age. So,
No, you don't.
so you
No,
can see my
see, the
gray
thing
hair.
is, but the key thing is we got to live life with passion, full
Yeah.
passion. It's not work for you or I. We get up and we do so many things. And after 17 hours, some days, I'm in my studio and talking and everything and talking to people. My wife says, "Are you tired yet?" No, hold on. 8 hours a day,
Gives you that
17
passion.
hours is double day. But if you're having fun and
Yeah.
passionate about anything, lot of things can happen. But the biggest thing is senior living, if I may
Mm,
say that, and that might be something pivotal in your conference too.
sure.
See, apartments are apartments, and it's a workforce housing in
Yes.
apartments.
Yeah.
In senior living, it's away because they have retired. So it's
True.
not workforce. It's not really governed by the economy. It's not about the job market at all. It's serene areas of golfing and lakes and,
It's a good
you know,
point, right? You're not hedging any sort of population growth. You're just,
oh no, totally. And the good part is that it's multifamily or residential assisted living, which is called, where I actually, in senior living in my book, I share everything anyway. But the key thing I like is assisted living and memory care, where there
mm.
are no doctors on the premises. There are
Oh, okay.
no, yeah. And a lot of people think senior living, I don't want to touch it.
Yeah.
But I say, no, wait a minute. Your same 10 unit or 14 unit senior living center will give you $6,000 per room. What? What did I say?
Wow.
Per unit,
That's great.
$6,000 as compared to 1,500. So
Wow.
even though there is more like care and so forth, and then feed the cooking the food and all, and helping in prescriptions, giving to them and all. So those are all explained in that. But I hope people will look into that. Alternative assets are so important in life because the cash flowing franchising, and you have heard about car washes. We have seen
Yeah.
so much.
Yeah. We actually have a panel at our conference. I have about 4
Oh,
women that are going to talk about, one woman bought 2 franchises. One woman does car washes.
mm,
One woman,
mhm.
stock. She's a
All
trader. It's all
please.
alternatives. Yeah. I love that. We
Mhm.
got to have you on. So obviously we interviewed, we focus on women only for our podcast, but we do
Yes,
webinars, Vinny, and those are open to our whole community. Men and women come to those. So maybe
I would
I'd love
love
to
to
have you on to talk
come.
about senior living.
I would love
Yeah.
to listen anytime
Cool. All
because
right.
that's
Good stuff.
something I really want to promote and talk. And my daughter Monica and I just spent 2 days in Arizona. We've been building them in Florida and Virginia
Nice.
and all that. Now we want to be in the Mecca, which is Scottsdale and
I was going to
Arizona
say,
area. So we spent 2 days towards several properties. So we are going to start brand new division,
that's really
over
exciting.
here.
That's super exciting. I'd love to dig into that more.
Totally, totally. So let's go into, I'm sure it's very important for generational wealth and also not only just the real estate. You mentioned something about holistic.
Yes.
Let's go to that side of the whole equation. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's something what's really cool about when Justin and I came together as friends and then business partners, we learned a lot that we had this shared passion of doing kind of self-discovery and personal
Yeah.
growth. And
Mhm.
from coaches to therapy to weekends like Landmark Education, where it's a big weekend of really looking at yourself at a very different lens. We've done so
Mhm.
much work, Vinny. Even last year, I did a brain scan. I went
Oh,
to not
wow.
an MRI, but like a SPEC scan. Dr. Amen, pretty well known, written a bunch of books. but it was about like learning about how my brain works. And now I'm taking certain vitamins and just really like my brain, fueling my brain in a different way than my personality. So when I say I've done
Uh-huh.
a lot, I've done a lot. And why I'm bringing this up is that so many times people want something, right? They want to buy that next property, but that's
Yes,
not really what's
yes.
holding. It's not what the tactical steps is not what's holding them back. It's the
Mm-hmm.
mindset and their leadership growth and their ability to peel back the layer of the onion. For example, there was a woman at one of our sessions and she got on
Yeah.
the we do hot seats where women can talk about a challenge they're having. And this one woman said she had two different businesses. She has a small
Yeah.
rental property, a small rental portfolio. She said, I think my
Mm-hmm.
biggest issue is I'm having a hard time negotiating this project. And after a couple of questions, we're like, that's not your problem, honestly. If that and it wasn't her problem. What her problem was
Yes.
underneath all of it was that she wasn't asking or requesting help from her spouse. And the amount of mental load on her having to care for
Wow.
everything and in these businesses was completely overwhelming her, which then was not allowing her to be the negotiator that she actually was.
Oh my gosh.
And the
Oh
light
my
bulb went
gosh.
off for her, and she was just like, "I really need to have a conversation with my husband. He's a doctor, he's busy." So that's like going deep, right? This was not like, we're not going to just give you a couple of negotiation tips and strategies, because honestly, it wasn't her issue. It's what's
Yep.
beneath that that's stopping us. And that's the work that we're doing in every conversation we have. That's what we do at our conference. That's what we do in our mentorship. And
I
it's harder
love
work though,
it.
Vinney. It's uncomfortable work, to be honest. It's not comfortable.
Yes. Yes.
And
Oh
that's
my
what I think
gosh.
people need to do to grow their lives to be the best version of themselves. It's not easy. It's not just
It's
tactical stuff.
can
So,
I bring somebody up today? Oh my God. David Lucas, my very good friend for 11 years. I just interviewed him and
hmm.
it was neuromodulation technique.
Oh,
That's
I've
what
never
we're
heard of
talking
that. What
about.
is that?
Neuro. Yeah. It's very similar
The
to what
brain.
you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like we live in the past, the traumas and the negatives,
Yeah.
and we just get linked in with those
Yep.
which dampen us or hamper us to move forward. And I thought that was so interesting because when he was sharing these neuro techniques, I said, Tony Robbins, hold on. That's what
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
was
It's
also how you can change with the instant. The gratification is the leverage of the pain and the pleasure, right? The
yeah.
pain, if you make so much pain on this side and leverage it and get the pleasure, you could change the future. What you're
It
talking
takes
about,
courage.
know.
Yeah, and it takes
Ah,
courage though. Vinny, it's most people want that. They're not willing to do the work to get there. And that's
yeah.
really what it's about too, because last year I had some of the worst breakdowns. I had the biggest breakthroughs. And honestly, I spent the
Wow.
most amount of money on myself and my personal growth that I had in years. But yet I
Wow.
got such clarity on so many things that I'm a
Yes.
better entrepreneur. I'm a better leader. And I see myself as that, where I was in some ways at moments, right? Second guessing some of the things like, I'm pretty damn great. Not in an ego way, but in a self belief way, in a really appreciation way, not in a I'm better
Oh,
than anyone. I just want to be my best
totally.
self. So
Exact.
that's the work we do. We talk a lot about it and a lot. And then you can go to the tactical of the how to, right? Let's say analyze this 14 unit. Sure, that's important.
Mhm.
But what's going on underneath for people, and especially for women who we serve, that matters because that's going to keep coming up the next deal and the
Yeah.
next partnership. So that's the kind of
Sure.
work we do. We're not psychologists by any means, but we go deep and really invite women to be courageous, really
That.
level up.
I
So,
love that. I love that what you just said because it's so important, and we say that all the time. Mindset. We could learn everything we want to learn,
yep,
but
it's out there.
it's out there. But it's the mindset. It's the passion to really learn and then be better every day and live the full life every day.
Absolutely.
No bad days. I know I was talking to Brother Jeff, and we did that. No bad days. He wrote the book on no bad
Oh,
days.
that's cool.
Yeah, of course, I wrote the book on positivity, which is Positivity Brings Profitability, which is my second book. My first one was the Apartment Syndication Made Easy. But what I find is that we can do so much every day if we just have that. What's that you talked about in the brain? We use only 7% of the brain
It's
in our
crazy.
lifetime. It's
It's
crazy.
crazy.
It's
Yeah, when you really
crazy.
think about all the stats. And one of the things that I learned about myself, to be completely transparent, is I learned
Mhm.
I had ADHD, and I had like thoughts about it, but you just manage your life and so
Mhm.
between anxiety and ADHD, I had some things I really needed to look at and say, wow,
Mhm.
okay,
Mhm.
this is really helpful. And the vitamin regimen that I'm on, all vitamins, nothing against medication, but I'm like, I really would
Yeah,
love to try vitamins, natural. And it's been night
sure.
and day. That gave me
Wow.
such a gift to me to have that clarity and that focus. And then I have a coach. I'm working with a coach and helping me set
Sure.
myself up for success. So whatever we have going on is not a bad thing. It's actually a great thing that we know it and then we're able to manage it and we're also able
Mhm.
to thrive in it. I'm tapping into my creativity and my hyper focus like nobody's business because I have that ability, which I always knew that, but it's wow, these are gifts of mine. And that's how
Mhm.
everyone we really encourage at least the women that I work with is how do you tap into your genius to
Mhm.
create the life you want? Because it's not everyone's genius. I'm not great at what you're great at, Vinney, and vice versa.
Yeah. And we should not compare. I think this social media has really
Doesn't help.
hurt people.
I know.
It doesn't help. It
I
doesn't
agree.
help. You look at, you say, poor me, this, that. And then people who like to taunt on that. And I think I've never said that. I bought $1 million, 10 million, $70 million deals. I see a lot of them. That's okay. They want that recognition or let other
Sure.
people. But you're right. The key thing is living the best self. And how can we live the best self is to look at inside introspectively and set those goals. And like you said, set those
Action
bottom.
steps. Action
So true.
micro. We do a lot of teaching around there's a woman I was talking to and but she goes, I really want to create more, I want to have more health in my life. And I
Mhm.
said, great. She's like, but I don't have the time. And then in talking with her, I'm like, do you have 5 minutes? 5 minutes to literally take a walk.
Mm.
5 minutes. She goes, I probably have 5 minutes. I said, start
Uh-huh.
there. And so many times these big goals we want to achieve and these big uh, like it feels so big and overwhelming. 5 minutes or one step. You know why
One
that's so
step
important?
at a time.
And I find, Vinny, and I know you know this, but like
Yeah.
why that's so important is it actually creates momentum and it creates excitement for you. And you actually start to tell
Yes.
yourself, I can do this. Because if you set
So
something to
true.
do, you do nothing, what do you say to yourself?
You're
I can't do this.
guilty. You're guilty. I can't
Yeah.
do it. I'm a failure. I'm
Yeah.
no good. We go into a downward spiral and lose self esteem. We
Yeah.
lose
That's the
self
key.
confidence and self esteem. And by taking action, what you just said,
Yeah.
everything. I always say that Rome was not built in a day.
Correct.
That's so true. And we cannot change overnight either.
No.
But we can
No.
take minor step,
And
small
it really leads
step,
into something
and
positive. Absolutely.
very big, very big. Every single thing. And also today I was doing my show, Abundance Mindset with Vinney Chopra and Walter. We talked about how we definitely want to do better, but overnight, this society has
I
become
know.
microwave society.
True.
I
That's so
want
true.
it done
Right now.
tomorrow.
Right now.
Right
This
now.
minute. I'm
Right.
like, yeah, you can't become financially free in a day. Sorry. Not going to happen.
Not gonna
And
happen. I mean,
wrong business.
you know, I know some people say in 6 months you'll do this, or 3 months. How could you tell somebody's
Yeah.
going to be buying an apartment complex in 3 months?
Yeah.
I never say that in my academy. The thing is, you're so right. Yeah. The big thing is one needs to be open-minded.
Yeah.
That's the big thing because if a student is ready, a teacher appears, I
Yeah.
say.
So true.
And it's so important to really invest in ourselves. Zig Ziglar talked about stinking thinking. I
Yeah.
remember that book,
I
CEO on the
remember that term
Top.
too. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
He was great. He's great.
stinking
It's great stuff. Like all the
stuff,
greats. Yeah. Totally.
We spend so much money, our mouth down, I say, for eating, and we could go to a restaurant below $300 easily, whatever, for a meal. But then how much do we feed above the
And that's what really
mouth?
matters. Yeah.
That's what really matters. That's what it's all about. The podcast, the reading and everything, and coaching and training. No, that's fabulous.
Hmm.
Where would you like to take a little bit more. Oh my gosh, we've been talking for a good 38 minutes. Look at that. No, God bless you. And any last comments you'd like to say? And how can people reach you, please? And thank you so much for coming on my show. I really want to thank you.
I've loved it. I would say the biggest thing, the biggest recommendation I have
Mhm.
is that so many people consume information. They join webinars, they go to conferences like ours. I think we really put a lot of pieces in place to avoid what I'm about to say. But you go to webinars, you listen to a podcast, you read a book, right? You get an experience. And typically, if you're getting experience from a great teacher, like a Vinney or myself or other people, it's like thumbs up. But here's what doesn't happen, Vinney. And here's what I would recommend everyone to do. Before you listen to that podcast, before you attend that webinar, before you attend that conference, I always like to go in with very clear intentions. What do I want to learn? And what do I want to take action on? And so the take action could be answered after, but the learning is a very much prerequisite to getting what you need to get from a webinar. And people are like, oh, I'm just open, I want to learn. That's so vague and not helpful. And anytime I go to a conference, anytime I do anything, I go laser focused. What is my intention here? So I could be mindful. And so I'm just a very big fan of that. I think people go to too many events, too many things, and they learn nothing and they take no action. Not a big fan of that.
I love what you said.
So
Oh my
one thing you
gosh.
learn and one take action. We do 2 webinars a month, free webinars in our community. We had someone on talking about bookkeeping today. Important, but not the most sexy topic, but important. And anyway, at the end, I said, what did you learn and what action will you take? And I'm a big fan of that. So we can keep ourselves intentional. Time is limited. So you better have an intention when you go and listen and learn. So that's my recommendation. But I'd love to
thank you.
I'd love to invite
Liz.
folks to come to our
conference. Yeah.
And you just go to our website, the Real Estate InvestHER, HER.com. And for the guys listening, please share this with the women in your lives. For the women listening, would love to see you there.
See you there. And I keep this really nice magnifying glass next to me. It's the focus. It just tells me, remember, like we used to do as we were children outside in the sun, we were trying to go up and down to burn the backside of our hand. And that can only happen if it's focused. The rays have to be focused right there to see the heat and so forth. So I really believe in that. The other thing which I really love to chat a little bit is this one, the hourglass. And this actually, I've changed it to, this is the future, which is going through the present, and this is the past. So what's more important is the present right here, because if we take action, like you said, we learn, we get trained, we go to seminars, we got to take action, move the needle, because once this time passes from the future to the past, then it's gone. It's totally gone. You can't catch it. You cannot catch it.
I love that.
So the present is so important. And we could even look at it metaphorically. A lot of time we put our mind on the past, the negatives and the bad things that happen to us.
True.
And past is like ashes. I say, ashes, would you take a handful of ashes and smother on your face?
True.
Not really. Nobody wants it. Nobody wants it. So why do we live in the past? We cannot change from the past. We can learn from it. You can learn from it and apply in the present. You cannot change it. So that's just another one that I always try to bring it up, because mind is so good thing. Subconscious and the conscious mind, and we could really control both of them, actually.
Yeah. It's all we have control over.
Yeah.
Everything else is out of our control ultimately.
Totally. And let the things happen. Whatever happens in your life, accept that it was supposed to happen, and then find solution and go. It's been such a pleasure to have you.
Yes, Vinney. I really appreciated and enjoyed our chat here. It is very rejuvenating too, because I love sharing and I love hearing and learning too.
Thank you so much, and God bless you. Love to come on your big webinar. If you'd like to invite me for senior living, motivation, positivity, anything, love to come.
I would love that. I would love that.
That'll be amazing. Thank you so much for your time. God
Yes.
bless you, and say hello to Matt.
Oh.
See you again.
All
Thank
right.
you so much.
Thank you so much.
Sure. Bye-bye.
Bye now.